Hello YouTube, my name is Isabella and welcome back to my channel Stubbornly Bookish. Today I'm going to be filming a much needed book haul. I must have like 45 books to haul. I'm probably splitting this in two parts because it's going to be too long, so keep an eye out for the second part and let's just get into it. The first book I purchased in 2019 I actually don't have anymore, which was featured in my most recent unhaul, which I'm not entirely sure if I ever actually ended up posting that unhaul. Although I do know I edited it. But anyway, the first book I bought and kept in 2019 is Daughter of the Siren Queen by Tricia Levenseller. This is the sequel to the Daughter of the Pirate King. I don't actually remember what the first one is called, and I haven't read the first one yet, but I found this used for pretty cheap. And I got excited because it was a sequel, and I usually struggle finding sequels in thrift stores. It's a duology that focuses on pirates, and I think our main character was wronged by somebody and she's like sets out for revenge. I think it would be super fun, pretty easily bingeable, so yeah, I'm happy to have this one. I'm just going to warn you now and let you know that I will say I'm happy to have purchased this book. I'm so excited to read it. Can't wait for this book multiple times throughout this video. You've been warned. So my owl crate of January was The Gilded Wolves by Roshani Chokshi. This book takes place in Paris, I think somewhere in like the 1800s, and it follows this heist and this found family, and it's all the things I could possibly want, and Roshani Chokshi is an author I've wanted to read for so long, so super happy to have gotten this one. I also picked up King of Scars in January. It was one of my most anticipated releases of the year, and I haven't read it yet. There's going to be a huge theme in this book haul. I think I've probably read like maybe one or two of the books in this entire haul. This follows the events of the Grisha trilogy, and it has a character from both the Grishaverse, or from the Grisha trilogy, and then the Six of Crows duology. Super excited to read it, although there have been very mediocre reviews, which makes me nervous. Oh, one of the books I actually have read, and it's The Poet X by Elizabeth Acevedo. This was one of my favorite books of 2018. I purchased this because I didn't own a print copy, and when I went to film my favorite books of the year, it just seemed that I should absolutely have this in my possession. I loved this story. It was wonderful. It deals with like toxic religion and growing up being a curvy Afro-Latinx woman. It's wonderful, beautiful, very hard-hitting. Can't recommend this one enough. The final book I purchased in January I got for $2 and was so excited to get, and it was The Ask and the Answer by Patrick Ness. This is the sequel to The Knife of Never Letting Go by Patrick Ness, a book that really took me by surprise last year. I gave it 4 stars. I thought it was incredibly solid and frankly really holds up because it was, I think, 10 years old in 2018. It's set in this really weird sort of regressive society in which there are no women and all the men can actually hear each other's thoughts. Everything kind of goes to shit when our main character discovers this pocket of quiet in which there's actually a girl there. So very good story, very excited to read on, and I am a little bit bummed because I did read that in preparation for the movie, and the movie just keeps getting pushed back further and further. It was supposed to come out this year, and now it's been pushed back to 2020. It's literally been in production hell. So the first book I grabbed in February, I actually know nothing about, and it's White Teeth by Zadie Smith. I purchased this used. Picked this up on a whim at a used bookstore. Don't entirely remember why I chose to pick this up, other than Zadie Smith has been very well talked about on BookTube and like in the literary world, and I'm pretty sure this is her debut. With White Teeth, I picked up Ash by Malinda Lo, a book that I was so incredibly excited to find. This is a Cinderella retelling, but it's a female-female romance. It almost seems like a staple in YA queer lit, so super happy to have it, and it's very short, so I should be able to read it quickly. So for this next purchase, I totally succumbed to the hype and have not read it, but it's Black Leopard, Red Wolf by Marlon James. Marlon James wrote an incredibly well-awarded literary fiction story, which name is escaping me at the moment. Then he kind of went rogue and started writing a fantasy trilogy, and so many people have been talking about this book and how it's very highly anticipated for them, and A lot of people are pitching it as African Game of Thrones, which is really stupid from what I've heard from people who've actually read it. My February Owl Crate contained Crown of Feathers by Nikki Powell Prado. This is a book that I've kind of just seen the cover of, and the only thing I really know about it is that it features Phoenix Riders, and that there's also a very complex, complicated sister relationship between two sisters who want the throne or kind of competing for the throne, something like that. Don't know when I'm gonna get to this one. It's not super high up on my list, to be honest, but the pages are pretty. I somewhat recently went across the border to the States and made a trip out to Barnes & Noble and did well. I only purchased one book for myself, and it was A Gathering of Shadows by V.E. Schwab. This is the Barnes & Noble exclusive collector's edition of A Gathering of Shadows. I was going to stick with the regular edition, and then I realized that this is rose gold and it's just so pretty. I also forgot that with my February Owl Crate, a graphic novel came with it, and it was The Tea Dragon Society by Katie O'Neill. I have seen this one floating around. It has a different cover, but so many people have said that this is like the most adorable story they've ever read, and it's just, I know, very diverse and inclusive, and I'm excited to give it a read. It's so tiny, and it's so cute, the little packaging bind-up they put it in. The book I got in my, I guess, March Owl Crate, I was not thrilled at all for. It was Four Dead Queens by Astrid Schultz. This follows a main character who I think uncovers a plot to kill the four queens of this realm, and then I think tries to stop it. I've just heard incredibly mediocre to negative reviews, and it's just, this is not one that I'm interested really at all. I'll give it a chance at one point in time, but this is not high priority for me. I have so many books even in this haul that I'd rather read than get to this one, which sounds terrible when you're hauling something. The next little sale I went to, I was so excited for. Every year my town puts on this sale. It goes to some charity organization for women in like post-secondary education. I was incredibly selective about the books that I purchased, but I'm very happy with my choices. The first being Stardust by Neil Gaiman. I can't actually tell you what this book is about, other than it's a very beloved kind of cult following movie that is attached with this book. I think I saw it when I was very, very little, but I can't tell you anything about it. I've been wanting to give Neil Gaiman another try. The first book I ever read by him was American Gods, and it didn't quite do it for me. So I'm very excited for this one, and it matches my copy of American Gods, which is great. Speaking of Neil Gaiman, I also found Norse Mythology. This clearly was donated from my library, but I don't particularly care. I've wanted to read this one for so long, and it's literally just Neil Gaiman retelling and discussing certain aspects of Norse mythology, and I've just wanted to read it for such a long time. So the next book I purchased, also super happy about, and that was Beartown by Fredrik Backman. Fredrik Backman is an incredibly popular author on BookTube and just in general, but I think Beartown might actually be his most popular work. This follows a small hockey town that is basically ripped apart because one of like the prominent hockey team members rapes a girl, and there's just a ton of fallout, and I think this is a great examination of like rape culture. The final book I found in that sale, which I was so happy about, was Little Fires Everywhere by Celeste Ng. Celeste Ng is an author that I've just had my eye on for so long, and I've wanted to pick up her books. Adult literary fiction is crazy expensive, so when I found this used, I was thrilled. I don't know how to properly describe this story. I just know that it centers around a few families in this town, and like secrets are possibly revealed. I'm not doing a great job selling this novel, but so many people love it. I'm sold. So excited to read this. And ironically, the next time I went to a thrift store, I found Everything I Never Told You by Celeste Ng. This is her debut novel. It's a little beat up, but I'm still actually really happy to have it. I don't know. I feel like this is literary fiction with kind of a thriller-y vibe, and I don't like thrillers, but so many people love this. It's incredibly short. I'm excited. I also finally found Crazy Rich Asians by Kevin Kwan. I have wanted to purchase my own copy after reading it. I actually listened to it on audio, and it wasn't my favorite book ever, but I did enjoy it enough to want my own copy. I'm definitely going to look out at the thrift store for the others in the series. The next book I purchased was Never Let Me Go by Kazuo Ishiguro. I was so excited when I found this book at the thrift store. This is a book that I've been just so excited to read for so long. And now I don't entirely remember the synopsis. I'm pretty sure a lot of people say that you should go in blind to this story, not really knowing too much. So I'm just excited for this book to take me on a journey. I'm very quickly going to mention 2 books in the Expanse series I grabbed. I grabbed Abaddon's Gate and Cibola Burn. I have no idea how to say that. I own the first 2 books in the Leviathan Wake series, and when I saw these, I got very excited just because, again, finding sequels in thrift stores is nearly impossible. I haven't actually started the Expanse series, but I really, really want to. However, I think there's like 8 books in the series now, and I don't think I'm ready for an 8-book or more adult sci-fi story. I sort of picked this up on a whim from Indigo. It was in their reduced section, and it's The Wanderers by Meg Howry. This is set in like the future where humanity is ready to put people live on Mars, and we follow 3 different people who enter this like 17th month long simulation in which they are living as if they are living on Mars. I feel like it's a very inward reflection type of story, and I'm pretty interested to see what I think about it. A book that I think the only book that I pre-ordered here was Descendant of the Crane by Joan He. I was given the opportunity to read an arc of the story, and I really, really enjoyed it. This follows a 17-year-old girl who is set to be like the empress of her country. She discovers her father is dead, and everyone believes he died of natural causes, but she witnessed this gas emitting from him after he had died, and she goes on a pursuit for justice, and things just kind of blow up from there. This is an incredibly political story, and it follows some very interesting characters, and I had a lot of fun with it. So the final book I got in April, no, that's a lie. That's a stone cold lie. There's one more book. Anyway, I got Wicked Saints by Emily A. Duncan. This was in my Owl Crate. They really reversed the colors on the cover on this one, but I think I dig it. I've just been so excited to read this story. It features a main character who can commune with the gods. So I believe there's some forbidden angsty romance. Not entirely sure, but I'm excited for this story. I think it's supposed to be a trilogy, but I don't care. To start a new trilogy, I'm so excited for this book. And look at the spine. It's gorgeous. So the final book I got in April that isn't book outlet related, I can't actually find the book. Don't know where I put it, which is concerning, but I have the dust jacket. It's The Red Scrolls of Magic by Cassandra Clare and Wesley Chu. This follows Magnus and Alec. This basically occurs during the time of City of Fallen Angels, but it isn't really related to it at all. So basically, don't read this if you don't want to be spoiled for the resolution of City of Glass. That's it. So that is it for part 1 of my book haul. Clearly, I have not done very well the amount of books I have coming in. That's something I need to consider because I have no more space. I have no idea where I'm going to put all these books. So that's fun. As always, thank you so much for watching. I really, really appreciate it. I'm finally back. I'm ready to participate. I feel really bad because when everything was going on, I just had no energy to deal with my channel at all. No replying to comments, nothing. But I'm happy I'm back now. I should be pumping out a lot of videos in the very near future, so stay tuned for that. Thanks, bye!